As you've probably guessed, the Egyptians believe that life existed after death. They call this the afterlife, and the place they believe they went to was called the Field of Reeds. This was a paradise kingdom in heaven that was governed by the god Osiris, the god of the dead and the god of resurrection. They imagined it to be surrounded by wheat and fruit trees where people ate, drank, and were happy for eternity. However, before they went to the Field of Reeds, a number of things had to happen. Firstly, they had to die, obviously. Then they had to be made into a mummy. The Egyptians believed that their bodies needed to be preserved in order to survive the journey to the afterlife. A death mask was placed on them so that they would be recognized in the afterlife. They were placed into a coffin with a variety of amulets and lucky charms. The Book of the Dead was placed in the coffin too. The spells in here would be useful in the afterlife. Then there was a funeral where lots of offerings were made. Finally, the body was placed in a sarcophagus. It's at this point that the soul was recognized by the underworld and the body was raised in order to embark on its journey to the afterlife. However, it wasn't that easy. There was a huge test ahead. Priests, family members, mourners, and embalmers had done all they could to help the body on its way. Now, it was the body's turn. Firstly, the body had to survive a boat voyage on a long and perilous journey through the dark, gloomy waters of the underworld. The waters traveled on was called the River of Death. The ferryman on the boat and the guide himself would be Anubis. However, on the way, the body would be blocked by various evil spirits, lakes of fire, and deadly snakes. As you know, the body was buried with the Book of Death that contains lots of spells. This would now come in handy. Eventually, the body would arrive at the Hall of Judgment. It's at this place where it would see Osiris himself. Yet this wasn't the end. Every person earned their place in the Field of Reeds by doing good deeds while the body was alive. The better the deeds you did, the lighter your heart became. If the heart was not light, it would not be allowed to go to the Field of Reeds. So, Anubis would take the heart and weigh it against a feather. The life of the body was then judged by Osiris himself, depending on how the heart weighed. If the heart was heavier than the feather, this meant that the body was full of wickedness and the heart was gobbled up by a monster. The soul was then lost forever. If, however, the heart was light as the feather, the body was full of goodness and could enter the Field of Reeds and have eternal joy.